Well, I'm on the phone with MDI football head coach Mark Shields, as we are every Monday and Thursday during football season. Coach, congratulations, a nice win at Husson against John Bapst on Friday night.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. It was one of those games, much like the Herman game where, we talked all week about it to the kids about making sure that no one is overlooking this team, John Bapst, and, it's their homecoming. And, they have some talent. They got some guys that have some speed that are scary to try to stop. And, we made it a goal the whole week that, like every week, that we're going to get better, every down, every series, and essentially every game. And I felt as though we did that. We ended up running a lot of offense that we don't normally run. We run more of our flex offense. We really wanted to work on that. We threw the ball a little bit more than we normally do. We wanted to work on that. So, I felt the kids, they came out ready to play and took care of business. And credit to John Bapst, they never quit. They played hard the whole night. They punched in a couple late, and I was happy for them being their homecoming. And I think they left the field feeling like, they had some positive things go their way as well. So, good win for us, and now we move on to our next opponent, Madison.
Well, let's just go back to the game a little bit. I thought, when you talk about running that flex offense, I thought that there was opportunities to really get the ball, and without being critical of Andrew as a quarterback, the quarterback gets all the praise or gets all the criticism, but there seemed to be a lot of balls that got thrown over the wrong shoulder or something like that, because there were receivers that were wide open.
Yeah, in his defense, it's something that we don't traditionally do. You've been covering us for a long time, and we are more of a ground and pound type offense. But we do believe that, if we're going to win some playoff games this year, we're going to have to be able to throw the ball. And he's worked extremely hard in practice. He and some of the guys, before practice even starts every day, they go up and they run their pass routes, and he works on his throws and the timing. And we worked more on that this week in practice, preparing for John Bapst. And that is a goal of ours, that, try to be more than one-dimensional as far as just running the ball. We have to be able to throw it. And at times, he missed his target, but other times, looking on tape, I thought that a couple of them were drop balls. I thought that, I think he looked better in the pocket. I think he felt more comfortable in the pocket. He got up on his toes, and, he threw a stronger ball that night. And, I just think he's just going to keep getting better. And it's something that's on me as a head coach and the offensive coordinator, that I just got to keep repping him so he feels more comfortable doing that.
And again, I'm not being critical. It's an observation, because it's a heck of a lot easier to play the game from the press box. So, please, listeners and coach and Andrew, don't take that as a criticism. It's more of an observation.
Yeah, and I don't think Andrew will. He's the type of guy that he just comes to work every day, and he wants to get better. And it's a goal of his to be a stronger passer. He's running our offense real well, and the thing he's done so much better this season than last is his faking. That's been a real emphasis of ours, and we look at tape, every week, and we, how well did we fake with him and our backs, and and passing is just another aspect to the game, and that's something that we're working on, and I think by the end of the year he's going to be really good at it.
One of the things about that I read about Madison and looking at the John Bapst game is that Madison likes those little pop passes. They set up that little screen, and Bapst did that and had some success against you.
Yes, they did. They threw 3, if not 4 screens against us, and they were successful on 3 out of the 4 for big gains. And, of course, Madison has that tape, so I'm sure Madison's down there this week thinking, well, maybe we're going to run more screens this week. And that's something that's on us as a coaching staff. We didn't rep a lot of that throughout the week because we hadn't seen a lot of that from John Bapst. But for whatever reason, they saw something on tape that thought that they could do that, and sure enough, they did. So that will definitely be something we'll talk to the kids tonight at film, and then we'll make sure that they're aware of as the week goes along in preparation for Madison. But you're right, Madison, real strong run game, strong backs. They have a strong quarterback who can run and throw the ball very well. They have ends. I mean, they're everything you want in a football team. And you're right, and one of the things that they do is they like to do those quick screens, and they like to do some of those quick screens on the outside, not so much like what John Bapst did. Now, we might see something like that, but more those wide receiver slot guy screens that you see in the NFL today, where they're trying to get it out there quickly, and then the other receiver is blocking, for him to run down the field. So, yeah, I mean, that's something we definitely got to get better at, or we're going to be in big trouble.
Another big special teams return, this time Colby Lee. And if I remember, it almost looked like he took the ball out of Drew Rich's arms and then ran it back for a touchdown.
Yeah, he's one of those explosive guys. And, this year particularly, we just have some real strong return guys. I mean, we're dangerous returning the ball, trying to stop us because, you think of the kickoff return, and, yeah, you got Drew Rich down there, who's one of the best punt returners in the league, and he can bust one. And then, of course, you have Colby Lee with his speed, and, he only needs, a little lane, and he's gone. And sure enough, you look at it on tape, and our guys, really what popped him, obviously he's fast, but the guys that up front who were blocking for him, they really did do a nice job, and, they set up a wall for him to get around, and, and he hit it and then scored. But, yeah, I mean, that's something that we, the first thing we do every day in practice is special teams. Right from day one, preseason, special teams is what we work on. And, you've been with us a long time, and sometimes it works out for us, sometimes it doesn't. But the last couple of years, I really feel like our special teams is really clicking, and, it's dangerous for other teams to try to stop.
Who do you give a game ball to?
Yeah, good question. I've been emailing my staff today and, getting some names out there. And I think I'm going to go with Croy Albee. Croy is a guy that, week in, week out, he's just, he's going to be a strong runner for you, a good leader for our team. And even though he didn't have a ton of carries Friday night versus Bapst, and that was designed for him not to get a ton of carries, but when he did get the ball, he had some punishing runs, and I think at the first we ran an ISO right up the gut. I think I ran it.
He ran over people.
2 plays in a row, and he just ran. You're right, over a couple of kids, and just a tough kid, but just a real nice kid, and I think it's time for him to get one this year, and we're hoping for another big night out of him versus Madison.
So, what do you work on this week? This Madison team, I mean, let's face it, looking at the schedule, the first 3 games were tough for MDI. The last 3 games, the way the season's set up, are just going to be brutal. I mean, you've got Madison at home, then we go on the road to Oceanside to play Oceanside, who's right in and on the hunt, and then Old Town comes down to the island, and these 3 games are huge.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. And it's one of those things you got to take a game at a time. And yeah, I mean, starting with Madison, they're the number 1 seed in the conference. They knocked off Winslow, so they are the team to beat. You look at them on tape, and they're huge up front, and they're strong in the backfield. And they can throw, they can run, special teams are strong. I mean, they're just a good football team. I mean, there's a reason why they're the number 1 seed right now. So, for us, it's a huge week. Especially if you think defensively, trying to stop these guys. So far, no one's really been able to stop them. I mean, Winslow gave up 4 touchdowns to them, and Winslow doesn't usually give up 4 touchdowns to anybody. And
let alone the entire year. I mean,
yeah, yeah, and they did it in one night when they lost. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big week for us defensively to do our jobs, and because they do so much, it's kind of pick your poison. You can't really key on one specific thing to try to stop. You just have to play good, sound defense. And, the reality is you're not going to stop them all night long, but you're going to hope to slow them down and make them earn what they get, try to, not give up the big play. And you're going to have to win the turnover battle. If you're turning the ball over against them, you're not going to have a shot to win. Just like with Winslow when we lost to them, turned the ball 4 times, you're just not going to beat them. So we got to protect the football for sure, and our special teams. That's going to be a good battle between both teams because I think both teams have really good special teams. So there's a lot to think about. Offensively, it really did help us last week to spread it out and do a little bit more, and gives them more to try to defend, and it gives us confidence of running that stuff. So, I think on both sides of the ball and special teams, you're just going to have to be sound and not make a lot of mistakes to beat this team.
All right, so it's homecoming, a lot going on. What do you want to say to the fans down on the island?
Yeah, so it's Monday today, and we have a few days before the game, and really hoping we get a big crowd. We're going to need it. It's going to be great. I have the Hall of Fame inductees, and it's our homecoming game is a volleyball game before it, so there'll be some people from that hopefully filter out to the field, and
there's
just
a family fun event at the tennis courts. I mean, there's all sorts of things going on.
Yeah, it really is. There's a nice buzz around the school. Kids different days are doing different stuff. Today's red, white, and blue day, and so there's something different every day for the kids to do, and the kids are getting excited about homecoming. Of course, there's the homecoming dance Saturday night. So, yeah, if people can get out, and we need a big crowd there Friday night versus Madison, number 1 seed coming to town. It's an exciting week around here, and if you can get out and cheer us on, that'd be great.
All right, Coach. Best of luck this week. We'll talk on Thursday.
All right, Chris. Thank you.